out buying records and stuff. Crazy old bearded guy doesn't know if he's bought enough. He likes to buy whatever he sees. He wants to bring home whatever he pleases. So you better look out, he's headed back to the vintage store. So if you wanna come along, he's headed back to 1984.
Well, once again, thank you for joining me. I appreciate you stopping by unannounced, because I got a surprise for you. Today we're going to take a trip back in time to most iconic record stores. While I was out, I happened to come upon an old friend. Yes, Tower Records people. You won't believe how hard it was to find this on my time dial. Extremely difficult. Let's set this aside for a moment and let's talk a little bit about Tower Records. All right, everyone. So we've set the Wayback Machine for 1960, where a man by the name of Russell Solomon is working in his father's pharmacy. It's just a drugstore in Sacramento. It's the Tower Drugstore. It has that name because it shares the same name as the Tower Theater in the same building. And so he opens up a little booth inside of his father's store, and he just sells, little records, 45s and stuff, because he sees there's a demand for people wanting music. So he opens this little stand in his father's store, and he operates this throughout Sacramento in a couple of locations. Finally, in the early 70s, he opened up Tower Book posters and plants, eventually leading him to open in 1971, opening a store in Hollywood, which a lot of Southern California people would like to imagine that is the first Tower Records, if not the pinnacle Tower Records. Its location drew everyone. A lot of big names came to that store to buy records. On Sunset Boulevard. Now, when he originally opened his first store in Sacramento, his first Tower Records, he was very innovative in his hiring techniques. He hired a lot of very unusual and eclectic people to operate his stores on their own terms. They could decide when they show up, when they leave, what the store hours were. He pretty much left it upon the staff to run the staff, which was very unusual at the time. He didn't require a dress code. He didn't require a lot of rules and regulations from his staff. And that led to a lot of unusual activity in the stores, to say the least. He decided to open up a store in Hollywood on Sunset Boulevard. And he used his staff to actually contract and subcontract the construction of the building. They shared in the labor. So the employees helped to build the store on Sunset Boulevard. Unfortunately, all good things come to an end. And as popular and as famous as Tower Records was throughout the world, in 2006, they filed Chapter 1 bankruptcy. Tower Records had failed. And at some point in 2006, all of their assets were liquidated, including the Sunset Boulevard store. Now, when I was a child, we spent a lot of time in Hollywood, in and around the area. We lived in and around the Hollywood area. My parents spent a lot of time there working and socializing. So it was not uncommon for us to be hanging out on Hollywood Boulevard, on Sunset Strip, and we didn't always get to go in the store, but I remember a lot sitting and waiting to see what goodies were going to come out. It's a big memory in my life, Tower Records, and I'm happy to share some Tower Records experience with you today. So let's see what we got. I always loved their logo and their signage, especially on the building itself. It was just, you know, eye-popping. It was one of those things that sticks out from your childhood that you never forget. So what do we have in the bag here today? Let me set the bag down and we'll pull out the first goodie. And what we have today is Rockarola by Judas Priest. Fantastic album. Okay, this is their debut studio album from September 6, 1974. So this would have been sitting in Tower Records in 1974 in the new music or British music, British invasion music here. Now, and this came to us from Gull Records, produced by Roger Bain with a DG, not just a G. He was the producer of Black Sabbath's first 3 albums. This is the only album featuring jazz drummer John Hinch. And a funny thing about John Hinch is he was not only the drummer for the band during this album, but he was also the driver and the road manager, right? And not only did he leave Judas Priest, but he eventually found a career in musical management. But yeah, he played with them during their during this album, and then he was replaced by Alan Skidmore, who was their original Road Days drummer. So this is just a great record. I fell in love with Judas Priest before this, but once I heard this became one of my favorite Judas Priest records. Now, it's actually considered to be hard rock or blues rock, right? It doesn't even feel like heavy metal at this point. And this was the original cover for this LP, and eventually it was changed to something not resembling Coca-Cola. So interestingly enough, when they had to change the cover of this because it resembled Coca-Cola, they added another song, a Joan Baez cover, Diamonds and Rust, which wasn't on this original version that I have. This is the 1974 version, and it's got songs like One for the Road, Rockarola, Winter, Deep Freeze, Winter Retreat, Cheater, Never Satisfied, Dying to Meet You, Hero Hero, and Caviar and Meths. I wonder what caviar and meths mean. I'll have to pay attention to the lyrics. But yay for Rockarola, Judas Priest. Thank you so much. So next, in the bag of tricks here from Tower Records, we have Doobie Brothers, The Best Of, Volume 2. Now, this is an album released in 1981, 10 songs previously released from singles and albums before 1981. And the great thing about this one is it's really Michael McDonald heavy. It's got a lot of his songs on it. Now this Doobie Brothers album only peaked at number 39 on the Billboard charts. Kind of weird. It's got a lot of great stuff on it, so it's kind of unusual that it didn't get a lot of positive feedback. It's got songs like What a Fool Believes, You Belong to Me, Minute by Minute. It really is a good album to have in your collection. Let's see what else we got in the bag of tricks from Tower Records. Let's see. Ooh, since we're time traveling, we can go back and look at a Betamax. This is Sugarland Express from 1974. This is Steven Spielberg's theatrical debut. This was preceded by the made-for-TV movie Duel in 1971 with Dennis Weaver. And this is just before he made Jaws. This movie stars Goldie Hawn, and she had just come off Cactus Flower, where she got a Best Supporting Oscar. Awesome, huh? She's an amazing wonder, right? It also stars an unusual guy, William Atherton. You best know him for the guy taking a punch to the face by the wife of the star in Die Hard. You remember that? It also stars Ben Johnson, who we remember from the Sackets, and of course Red Dawn. I've got some family heirlooms I want to leave with you. No. And this is a fantastic movie about kind of a hillbilly couple who is off to get their little son back. And because he's been put in a foster home, they're going to have to steal him, right? And on the way, they run amok, take a sheriff hostage, and just get into all kinds of nonsense. And Ben Johnson pursues. Fantastic movie. We're going to have to stick this in the Betamax and check it out. Okay. Once again, we're time traveling, so we have an 8-track cartridge here. This is the Average White Band Soul Searching. All right. This was released in the summer of 1976. This is their 4th album release. They're a Scottish band, and this particular LP, or 8-track if you will, follows the 1975 hit Cut the Cake that just had some awesome hits on it. I'm not familiar with this, so I'm going to really enjoy looking into it. It reached number 9 on the US charts, right? And the title track only reached number 40. But I look forward to checking this one out. And let's see, last but not least, from Tower Records, we have Seals and Crofts Get Closer. Now this is their 8th release, brought to us again in 1976. This reached number 6 on the charts, and number 2 on the adult contemporary charts. Released by Warner Brothers as soft rock. This follows I'll Play For You from 1975. It's got 8 tracks on it, and it features, of course, James Seals and Dash Crofts. Dash Crofts, what a name. And it highlights Ray Parker Jr. And if you know Ray Parker Jr., then you know that he's famous for the Ghostbusters theme in 1984. So this one will be a blast to listen to. And last but not least, I have one cool item that I brought back from my time trip. And if you would like to have this Tower Records bagged, all you got to do is leave a comment in today's show and just say Tower Records. The first one to do that, I'll get in touch with you and I'll stick this right in the mail for you. All right? Isn't that a cool bag? Wouldn't that be neat framed or hung on a wall? Right? Doesn't that just evoke so many memories? Okay, people, it's time for me to jump into my phone booth and hit the road. I want to thank you for stopping by. If I can do anything for you in the future, please don't bother trying to find me because I'm in the past. Stay tuned for our next time trip when we go out looking for records and stuff, because you never know what we'll find. Thank you for visiting, and I'll see you in the past. Bye. you still here? Go on.